Okay, so we work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. There are going to be days where you aren't going to be productive. So in this video, we're gonna be creating what I call a board list. Now, this board list came about because I was managing people when I was 23, and I knew, because obviously I had worked for managers before, that you're just not gonna be productive every day. So I coined the term board list, and basically it is a list of guilt-free things you can do instead of working. They're semi-work related, but not like binging Netflix or Hulu at work. But you can also use this list on your day-to-day, like when you're not working, because I pull out this list when I'm like, oh, I'm bored, I have some free time, I don't want to be glued to the TV, so I pull out my board list and I go, oh, maybe I can journal, maybe I can do something more creative, a little bit more building, less consuming. If you're new here, I'm Liz, I'm a data science manager at Intel, and I film videos about productivity, coding, and just generally being in your 20s. So if that's up your street, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, let's jump into it. Okay, so why create this board list? The problem here is that I would be at work and I am burnt out, right? I'm hitting 2 p.m., I'm tired. Now I need a list of things that I can do that are still work related, but also not make me feel super guilty about doing, because otherwise I would just like put on Grey's Anatomy while I was working or something like that, which it didn't feel as productive. So what I do is when I'm starting to get burned out in the end of the day, I created the board list. So the first reason you should create it is because it stops burnout. The second thing is that it is guilt-free. You aren't going to feel super guilty about doing these tasks, and these tasks are still productive. They're just productive in a different way. It's not deep work, but it's not shallow work. It's kind of somewhere in between. Okay, so what do you put on this list? The first one I always go to is reading, okay? Any nonfiction book, if you're tired, just, read a couple pages. It's still kind of work related because usually you read like business, nonfiction books. You can put that on the list, and you can even give them a list of books or yourself a list of books. Another idea is educational videos. I watch a ton of engineering videos while I'm at work, and I save those towards the end of the day when I'm getting kind of tired, and I kind of want to spark some creativity in the day, and I go, oh, I don't really know a lot about air-cooled chillers, so I watch a video on air-cooled chillers. Another big one is exercise. I know this sounds weird because you're like, why would you recommend to do exercise in the middle of a workday? But I'm telling you, there's this book and it's called Spark, and it talks about the science of working out and how it's really good for your brain. So overall, you should never feel guilty about taking a walk or doing some sort of exercise in the middle of your workday. My other go-to is an online course. Now these are great because you can go on Udemy and buy a course for like 10 bucks, 12 bucks, or really anywhere and just do a 10 minutes a day, and you'll be shocked how many online courses you'll get through. So like I said, this kind of comes from this productivity guilt, and that's kind of why I made the list. The reason I'm bringing it up now is because I started to read this book, I didn't do the thing, and it's all about productivity guilt, so feel free to check it out. Okay, so how do we make the list? So let's take a look at the computer here, and I like to use Canva. Canva has been my go-to for years, and making like visual pretty things that are also very useful. So on here you can see I just have like, I think it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and you can resize it if you want. I have the pro version, so I pay like $13 a month for this, but you can make this for free. So I added, some fun visuals and things, but you can take a look at my current board list here. So first I have, again, educational videos. That is like my go-to. That's how I learned engineering at work. And then reading a nonfiction book, exercise, coding class. Now this could be any class that you tailor to whatever you're working at. Journaling's a really good one. I journal almost every morning. Organizing files used to be my go-to at my last job because we would get so many emails, and I would just like having a nice folder structure. I would never lose anything. So super work related. Planning and goal building. Every company you have like, your goals for the quarter or whatever, and just kind of checking in on those. That's also a good thing to do kind of at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. when you're kind of getting a little tired. Or filming a training tutorial. This one's actually great because you can teach at work and then upload it, and then you don't have to actually train people because you can just send them to your video. But how I made this is I basically had these like little rectangle guys that I found on the elements section. So you can go in here and you can look up literally anything. If you want a little icon, you can do it two ways. You can go in here and you can type in like YouTube If you want a YouTube icon, you can click that. Or you can upload your own icons. You can see I uploaded these ones. I use a site called flaticon.com to get these. Ignore my thumbnails for my future videos. But you could upload anything and then you just kind of can click on these and then scale as you need. And what's cool is you can also move things around and then see how they line up and then kind of make a nice little list here. It's pretty basic. I wouldn't overdo it, you know, don't make it too complicated. But then you want to print out this list or keep it on I keep it on the wallpaper on my phone. And what's really cool is you can pull it out and you go, oh, I have some free time. I don't really know what to do, you know, and then you automatically have a list so you don't go straight to the TV or you don't go straight to, you know, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, which is my choice of habit, which I will link up here what my Twitter is, and because I will post this kind of stuff on my Twitter. But it's basically really cool because you have this whole little list that you can now go to and you don't have to like worry about, you know, having your habits take you and drive you into, you know, that binge of Netflix or constantly scrolling on these social media platforms. So that is how you make this board list. I hope you liked it. I will link up here the fake semester technique, which is a technique I use to kind of spark some creativeness and to take online classes by creating a fake semester as if I'm in college so that I continuously learn. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time.